Hey guys, I'm Kenzie Kenz. For those of you who don't know me, welcome. I release natural hair and beauty videos at least once a week, so check out my content and subscribe if you're into natural hair. For those of you who've already been part of the fam, thanks for coming back. Today's video is going to be something that you guys have been requesting for a minute, and that is the pros and cons of red hair. I know a lot of you that follow me primarily because you're interested in dyeing your hair red and you're scared, you don't know if you should take the plunge. So I figured I would give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so I have my little notebook here. Let me get it. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm consulting my notes. So number one, the first pro is also the first con, and that is attention. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't mind attention, red hair is great. It's bold, it's vibrant. I have a lot of girls coming up to me on the street asking me, who did your hair? How often do you dye your hair? I love the color. Very complimentary and just a very positive energy of, women complimenting other women, which I always love. But on the other hand, if you are a more shy, reserved person, if you don't like dealing with strangers stopping you when you're trying to get from point A to point B, you may not be a fan of the attention. But regardless, red hair will definitely get people coming up to you. It will definitely get girls and guys asking how you got your color. So that's something that you want to be prepared for. And it's both a pro and a con. Again, it just depends on the type of person you are. So pro number two is that your hair always looks good, even if it doesn't really look good. This is kind of funny, but basically, for example, when I come on here and I do my videos, you guys are always very nice, very supportive. You love my hair, and you think it looks great no matter what condition it's actually in. And I guess basically the hair color is such a distraction that you're not really paying attention to things that you might see if it weren't for the color. So the health of the hair, the evenness of the hair, just things like that, they kind of fall by the wayside because people are so excited about your color. So that's what I mean by your hair looks good even when it doesn't really look too good. Even today, I have my hair up in a bun because it's time to wash and I'm just too lazy. But it just ends up looking like you tried even when you weren't really trying, and just because you have a fun color, Okay, con number two is maintenance. This is a big one that I'm sure you've heard other YouTubers talk about because it's no joke. Red is a red is basically there's just a lot to maintain with red hair. You have to decide if you want to maintain your roots. Do you want to keep your color all the way from the roots to the ends? Obviously, I don't touch up my roots anymore. I let them grow out, and I'll explain to you guys why in another video. But yeah, you gotta decide if you want to keep up with your roots, which means more salon treatments, more payments. You gotta buy dye. Even if you're dyeing it at home, you have to make sure that you're stocked up on your dye and your gloves and your supplies. So it is high maintenance. And then also, it's color-treated hair. And even if it weren't red, it would be a lot to maintain. You have to be willing to adjust your hair care schedule to incorporate protein treatments and deep conditioning and all of that. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and you got to decide if that's something that you're up for before you go red. Okay, con number three. Confidence boost. This goes along with the attention and all the compliments and everything. Obviously, we don't dye our hair for the validation of others, but let's not lie and act like everybody don't want to look good and everybody don't like a compliment. It's nice to be appreciated, and it's nice when people, tell you that your hair looks nice, and it is a little bit of a confidence boost. I feel fierce, I feel fly with my red hair, especially when I wear it out. So it is, it's a little pick-me-up. And con number three, this is something that I wish that I would have known or thought about before I went red. But red hair competes with your clothing and your makeup. I used to be red lipstick wearer number one. Like, I used to live in red lipstick. If you ask anybody that knows me, or if you go back on my Instagram, red lips were my thing. But now I just feel like I find myself wearing them less and less, just because I feel like it's a lot. It competes with my hair because you got a red up here, you got a red down here, and it's just all very bright, and it's a lot, and people don't know what to look at. Do I look at her hair? Do I look at her lips? What's the statement she's trying to make? And again, I'm not one to really play by the rules in terms of lipstick or hair color. But it is something that has kind of made me lay off the red lips, and I don't wear it as often as I can. when I do, I find myself leaning more towards the darker reds, like a burgundy or, you know, a wine color. And sometimes I miss my vibrant red. And then clothing is the same thing. If I want to wear something bright, which is not very often, but if I do, orange or yellow, I gotta think, girl, that's a lot. A yellow shirt with red hair? I don't know. Pro number 4 is friends can always find me. That might seem silly to you and it might not be a reason to go ahead and dye your hair, but I'm not gonna lie and act like it's not a perk. If you're in a crowd or just a busy place, I'm my own landmark. You know, people can find me. All they gotta do is scan the crowd for the tops of the heads and they see the red hair and then they know they found Mackenzie. So that's a funny, unexpected perk that I didn't know. And then next con, staining and bleeding. Now, I don't have too big of a problem with staining. When I first dye my hair, it's a little bit worse, as opposed to when my hair color has worn in a little bit. But generally, I only have a problem with white. I don't wear a lot of whites. It's not a big issue for me, again. But if I do wear white, I will get a little bit of a pink tint on the collar, a pink tint on my white pillowcases. You know, that's just something that comes with the territory of red. And then bathtubs and sinks. Now that is a real issue because I live at home with my mama, and you know, when I went red, I remember she had to pull me aside and say, girl, my white grout, you see this white grout and these white tiles and these white bathroom appliances? Yeah, this red dye, I don't know, because it stains. It will stain your bathtub, it will stain your sink, it will stain your toilet. When you're combing your hair, applying the dye, it'll fling off the comb and get on the walls. I mean, dye finds its way to get into every nook and cranny of your bathroom. So if you're doing, especially if you're doing an at-home process, just be aware that red dye does stain, and that's no joke. Finally, I'm actually going to finish off with another con. Swimming pools. I love swimming and I don't swim often, but the other, like a couple weeks ago, I went to a spa and I was swimming and I came out and I realized that the chlorine had stripped my red, and the blonde that's under here was peeking through in a couple areas. So chlorine and red hair dye, probably hair dye in general, is just a big no-no. So that about sums it up for my pros and cons of red hair video. I hope you guys got something from this. What I will say is that even though I had one more con than I did pro, I would not change anything. I love my red hair. I'm super happy I dyed it. It's a really bold statement. It just makes me feel brave and fierce and fun. I love my red hair, and obviously I know a lot of you guys love red hair too, or else you wouldn't be here. So I say, if it's something that you're nervous about, just go for it. It's your hair. If you don't like it, you can dye it back black or do whatever you need to do, but I think it's worth exploring. It's a very liberating experience to have a bold hair color for once in your life. So that's about it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm gonna link my hair color story video up in the card so you guys can check that out if you want to see more details about my red, about my blonde, about all the other colors that I've been. And of course, subscribe to my channel if you liked this video. Give me a thumbs up, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, guys. Bye.